Hi everyone, welcome back to The Woman Next Door. I am Anukriti, and if you're new here, this is a podcast for women in India juggling careers, relationships, motherhood, and everything in between. Today, I want to talk about something that I think about quite often, something that lives inside most Indian women my age, a quiet tension, a constant negotiation between the two versions of ourselves, the modern woman and the traditional one. And before I go any further, let me be clear about what modern means to me. Because I think we've come way past equating modernity with the clothes you wear. A woman in a sari can be the most modern person in the room. And equally, a woman in a mini skirt can be the most traditional one. Modernity is not a dress code, it is a mindset. It is in your actions, it is in your decisions, in how consciously you choose to live your life. Modern means making informed decisions. You define what is good for you and bad for you, and you live with the repercussions of it. That is modern. And equally, traditional does not mean blind. It does not mean oppressed. It does not mean you have no agency. I am both, and I have made my peace with that. Let's get into it. Let me start with my wedding day. There was a ritual in which I had to wash my husband's feet with water. Now, do I believe in this ritual? Honestly, no. I don't think washing someone's feet is a prerequisite for a happy marriage. I don't think it establishes the right dynamic between two equal partners. But on my wedding day, with my family around me and with everyone in a good mood, with so much love in the room, I made a choice. This is not the moment. This is not the hill I want to die on today. So I did it. And honestly, my husband and I were quietly laughing while it was happening. Some of my friends in the gathering were laughing too, because they knew me. They knew exactly what I was thinking in that moment. And yet, there I was, with that laughter, that shared knowing, that was also a choice. To not make it heavy, to do it and let it be what it was, a moment, not a statement. And I don't regret it. Because that was my decision. It was not blind compliance, a conscious choice to let something go in that moment for the sake of peace and love. So that is being both. And then there is another moment from my wedding that I carry with me. My father wasn't there for my Kanyadan. He'd passed away. So my friends stepped in because tradition said that my mother could not alone perform the Kanyadan, which means giving the daughter away. Now I was hurt, I didn't object, and I regret that. I wish I had spoken up. I wish we had found another way. And we did, but partially. So my mother performed the key rituals after that, right after that, but the moment had passed. And I live with that regret. But then one day I was talking to my mother about it, and she said something that changed everything for me. She said, "Why would I give you as dhan? Or why would I give you away? You are still mine." And that day, I was okay. Because my mother, a woman who grew up in a traditional home, who observed every ritual, who never questioned the way things were done, she looked at the word dhan and she rejected it. That is being both. And that is where I get it from. Another instance is a very recent one. My son is now in an age where typically, as per our rituals, the mundan ceremony or the hair shaving ceremony is to happen. Now, in my head, I had always assumed that this was done to increase hair density, to give the child thicker, fuller hair. So, when the time came, I did what I always do. I researched. I went on YouTube. I consulted with our pediatrician. And the answer was clear. The mundan has no scientific basis for increasing the hair density or hair growth. The pediatrician confirmed it. The research confirmed it. So then I looked further. Why does this ritual even exist? And I found out it is one of the 16 sanskars described in our Vedas. It is about soul purification. The child is born into a new life, and this is a symbolic cleansing, a beginning. Now, could I fully convince myself with that reason? Honestly, not entirely. Maybe because I have not read so much on it. But here is what I could convince myself with. My mother wanted it. My nanny wanted it. These are the people who love my son, and for them, this matters deeply. So I made a decision that we will do it, but we will not make a huge ceremony of it. No fanfare, no elaborate event. We will do it quietly at a convenient time with the people for whom it is important present. And honestly, it is summer, so a haircut would not bother anyone. That is being both. So I research, I question, and sometimes I do it anyway. For love, not for blind faith. And I also want to say this: not every ritual deserves the grace. Some rituals you will find illogical. You will research them, understand them, and still feel this doesn't sit right with me. And that is okay. Some rituals you will find actively devaluing women, and those you are allowed to raise your voice against. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to walk away. And some you will find easy to simply ignore, to let pass without making a movement. The wisdom is knowing which is which. Choose wisely. Not every battle needs to be fought, and not everything that feels wrong should be silently accepted. That is being both. She knows the difference. Then the next thing that I want to talk about is a very personal episode. I want to share it carefully because it is personal and it is something my husband and I decided together. So in India, traditionally, the father's surname is carried forward. The children take the father's name. And I understand historically where this comes from. Surnames in India were not even our original tradition. The British introduced them during the colonial rule for administrative convenience, for census taking, for record keeping. Before that, names varied by region, by community, by village, and there was no single family surname system the way we know it today. The British needed uniformity. They identified the head of the family, traditionally the earning member, the father, and attached his name to everyone else's. And we adopted that. We adopted the colonial system and called it our culture. So when my son was born, I questioned it. I come from a family of two daughters, so technically, neither my children nor my sister's children will carry our family name forward. Which is okay. We are not Maharajas. I don't know what exactly needs to be carried forward. But equally, what has my husband done to deserve that his surname outlasts everyone else's? What has any husband done? So my husband and I made a decision together. Our son's surname is neither mine nor my husband's. It is rooted in the name of a deity, one in whom both of us genuinely believe. It is traditional because it is rooted in our faith. It is modern because it belongs to neither of us. Because our son, he doesn't belong to any of us. He came through us. He is both of ours. And yet he is entirely his own. That felt right. That felt like us. That is being both. I want to talk about Karwa Chauth. I have watched my mother keep Karwa Chauth her whole life till my father was alive. And I want to say this clearly. She was not oppressed. She was not forced. She dressed up, she was excited, she fed the whole family while fasting herself, and I don't ever remember her complaining. She did it with love, with dedication, and I respect that completely. In fact, some of my fondest memories are her reciting the katha or the stories related to the festival. I don't keep Karwa Chauth, not because it is not observed in my husband's family, but because my husband and I sat down and we had a conversation on the first Karwa Chauth after our wedding. And we agreed that neither of us has to stay hungry to prove our love. If I want to fast, I will fast. If I don't have to. That was our mutual decision. But here is the honest thing. Sometimes on Karwa Chauth, I still dress up. I go to the mehndi wala or the henna guy. I get my hands painted. I wear something nice. Not for the ritual, for the joy of it. For that warm, girly feeling of dressing up and feeling beautiful. I take what brings me joy. I leave what doesn't resonate. That is being both. And then there is Navratri. So I fast for Navratri on first day and the last day. Genuinely, willingly, without anyone asking me to. I do the evening pujas religiously. Because I genuinely believe in Goddess Durga. And the way she is depicted. I think about this very often. She is feminine. Completely, beautifully feminine. And yet she is the most powerful deity in the Hindu pantheon. She does what no male god could do. She is soft and she is ferocious. She is gentle and she is unstoppable. She doesn't choose between the two. She is both. And I think that is what I'm trying to be. That is what most Indian women I know are trying to be. Feminine and powerful. Traditional and modern. Soft and fierce. Not one or the other, both. I am not against tradition. I am against following something without understanding it. I want to question it. I research it. I understand where it came from. And then decide from a place of knowledge, not pressure. From a place of love, not fear. Sometimes you will do the ritual, sometimes you won't. Sometimes you will dress up without fasting. Sometimes you will choose a surname nobody expected. And all of it, every single choice can be both modern and deeply rooted at the same time. And I want to say one more thing. I absolutely love celebrating our festivals. Diwali, Onam, Holi, Baisakhi. I celebrate all of them with equal gusto. And I always try to understand why. Is it connected to a full moon, an Amavasya, a harvest season? Is it mythological? I want to know the origin. But beyond the origin, here is what I know for certain. Festivals bring families together. They break the monotony of everyday life. There is good food, color, dressing up, indulging, and a collective moment of saying thank you. Thank you for this life and for each other. That is worth celebrating. Always. Because modern doesn't mean defiance, modern means informed. And traditional doesn't mean blind, traditional means rooted. I am both traditional and modern, rooted and free. My mother showed me that it was possible. A woman who observed every ritual and yet looked at the word dan and said, "Why would I give you away? You are still mine." That is being both. And I am very okay with that. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one.